This is Bruce Friedman of Adult Site Broker, and welcome to Adult Site Broker Talk, where each week we interview one of the movers and shakers of the adult industry, and we give you a tip on buying and selling websites. This week we'll be speaking with Aerie Saunders and Katy Churchill of Adult Model Mentors. By the way, this is the 100th edition of Adult Site Broker Talk. I'd like to thank all my guests and all of our many listeners for making this possible. ASB Marketplace is the first platform where you can buy and sell adult sites and domains for free. ASB Marketplace allows buyers and sellers the chance to come together on properties that are valued below our company's minimum of $50,000. Don't pay for other marketplaces when ASB Marketplace gives you this service for free. Visit asbmarketplace.com and sign up as a seller or a buyer today. And of course, there's ASB Cash, the first affiliate program for an adult website brokerage where you can earn as much as 20% of our broker commission referring sellers and buyers to us at Adult Site Broker. Check out asbcash.com for more details and to sign up. Now let's feature our property of the week that's for sale at Adult Site Broker. We're proud to introduce for sale a transgender tube site with over 120,000 unique visitors daily. The site is a custom-built tube. Videos are encoded at a very high quality. There are 4 grades of video. It will auto-adapt to the best quality based on the user's connection. Premium quality and downloads are only available to members who have a paid account. The site script can take a lot of traffic with the current server being at only a 5 to 10% load. There are over 30,000 videos. Retention rate is an amazing 85%. Only $274,000. Now time for this week's interview. My guests today on Adult Site Broker Talk are Aerie Saunders and Katy Churchill of Adult Model Mentors. Ladies, thanks for being with us today on Adult Site Broker Talk.
Thank you for having us. We were going to say it at the same time. I just know we were.
Okay,
Yeah, we were.
Let's try it. 1, 2, 3.
Thank you for having us.
That was pretty good. You got to keep working on it. Okay. So Katy Churchill has been a webcam model and independent porn producer for over 8 years. She specializes in one-on-one Skype shows, fetish videos, and releasing weekly videos for her fartqueens.com membership site. I got to check that one out. Katy also has experience shooting with a professional Fendom studio and working on both token and private show campsites. Recently, Katy has started offering model coaching sessions through Adult Model Mentors, which we'll talk about in a little bit, to help other performers transition from big box campsites to video call platforms like Skype and Discord. Katy's writing has been published by Boylan Models, Webcam Startup, and XBiz. You can find out more about Katy at katychurchill.com. And Katy had me in the past on the Webcam Startup podcast, and we had a blast.
We certainly did.
This should be fun today. Now, Aerie Saunders has been on our show a couple of times. By the way, that makes you our first 3-time loser. Congratulations.
Thank you.
You may know and love her as the former CEO of Webcam Startup. There's that name again. And founder of Adult Mutual Aid. But she's back again with yet another project with longtime friend and employee from Webcam Startup, Katy. Aerie's been in the adult industry for almost 7 years, uses the applied practice approach to test methods and adult websites for the best coaching and blogging experience. When she isn't consulting, she also builds websites via sexworkersites.com, streams video games, offers sexy live cam shows, and creates pre-made and custom adult videos. Not to mention playing with her 5 dogs, which I've got her beat now because I have 6. For more information about Aerie, visit aeriefans.com. And that's why I adopted the 6th dog, the 5th and 6th dogs, Aerie, just to fuck with you.
Yeah, because we'd been talking so much. You just had to surpass me.
Yep. I'm waiting for you to tell me you got 10 soon.
Well, I have 10 chickens.
Yeah, that doesn't count, cocks. Okay. It's all, I'll be doing my walk in the morning, my speed walk along Jomtien Beach, and I go by the temple, and there's chickens, and I'll yell cock. Anyway, adult model mentors came to fruition as Aerie, the former CEO of webcam startup, was transitioning away from working full time on the company due to internal issues. Katy served as a staff news writer, and in addition was recommended to webcam startup by Aerie herself back in 2017. The duo has worked closely for years, and it only made sense to work on their next project together, with Katy offering coaching and Aerie wanting to start a new go-to blogging and directory platform as an adult performer resource. Using their combined years of experience and industry strengths, they set off to create the ultimate resource and hub for information and consultations that fit any performer's needs. You can find them at adultmodelmentors.com or on Twitter at adultmentors. I'm sorry, ladies, that's all the time we have today.
Well, you've covered it pretty well, so.
I do my best. Okay, so let's get into the questions. And you both can certainly address these. What is your goal for adult model mentors?
Katy, go first.
Oh, I was going to say you go first.
Oh, God.
For me, I want to give models an idea of how successful they can be. One of the things that was really important to me with Webcam Startup was to show that there was an entire world out there of models who are making a middle-class income, middle-class earnings. You don't have to be a millionaire. And just because you're not a baller doesn't mean that there's no room for your business to grow and to develop.
Right.
And that there are other options as well away from the kind of typical route to success we see. We see a lot of girls who become crossover stars who make it really big on a platform like MyFreeCams or StreamMate, and then they transition to doing mainstream porn, or they started out doing mainstream porn and transition into camming. And people really get locked into this idea that that is the road to success, that this is the way you do it, that you've got to have this kind of camera, you've got to have this kind of background, you need this millionaire lifestyle in order to really make it. And I wanted to show that there's different kinds of success. I call myself a middle class model. I'm middle class in earnings. I'm middle class in terms of where I am across all of the different sites. But at the same time, I have found a place for me. And I'm also not a body that is very represented or hyped up in porn. I have an atypical body. I'm fat and sweaty and hairy. Okay. And I want to show that there are so many other routes to success. Like for me, I don't cam on token sites. I don't cam on private show sites anymore. I do Skype shows. And for me, that's been the way for me to be financially successful. And I want to show models that there are different routes for every person and that that's okay. And that's one of the reasons I love working with Aerie so much, because between the two of us, we've basically got it all covered and we've found very different roads to success. But at the end, we've both got careers and financial freedom and all of what we were looking for. We just didn't do it in the way that we see represented through things like XBiz and AVN and Why Not and other of the kind of porn media interviews kind of world.
But hey, we ended at a very...
Oh, I'm sorry. And you mentioned Skype shows. That has just gotten to be such a big thing. I mean, I one of our listings that we sold was a Skype site. And it just blew me away how popular that was and how it's gotten.
It's a small niche in the grand scheme of things, but it's gained a lot of popularity. One of the reasons is because, and I mean, I'm sure I will harp on this later because it's one of my favorite dead horses to flog, is that mainstream cam sites have not kept up with the technology.
Right.
Guys want two-way video. They want two-way audio. They don't want to be a postage stamp on your computer screen. They want their dick filling your entire monitor. And quite frankly, that's what I want to see too. If we're doing two-way video, I want you life size on my screen.
Yeah.
You know, and I think a lot of people, more and more people are starting to realize that there is this other route. And a lot of people are tired of making 35% of their earnings, 35 to 50%. And
Yeah.
they look at something where they can make 70 to 86% of their income. And they're thinking, well, why am I not doing that? I could make it
Yeah.
more affordable, which would
Okay.
bring me more regular customers.
Right.
And that's going to increase my income, even if I'm charging less.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
yeah,
No,
Skype
for
sites are
sure.
where it's at, and I think unless cam sites really get it together on the technology, they're going to be left behind.
Yeah. But I got a question though. Dick's filling the monitor. Is that possible for some guys?
I mean, you can always change the resolution.
I'm sorry, I couldn't resist that. So,
You can get
So Aerie, your
closer.
turn.
I was gonna say we tried different approaches and ended up at the same destination. Me and Katie are both fat, hairy, and sometimes sweaty now, and it's wonderful. I'm glad I can have this experience with her. But my goals for adult model mentors is very similar to what I had with Webcam Startup. And at the time with Webcam Startup, it's not how I foresaw the retirement of the site going. And I just want to work towards the same things, just providing free information for models. And now also the added benefit of offering consultations and being able to provide more specialized support
Hmm.
because. I mean, it's important. Some people
Right.
have very specific questions and needs, and it's not something that an article will always fulfill for everybody.
Right.
And some people also can't really grasp stuff by reading it. Some people need to have someone, sit down, explain it to them, and
Hmm.
kind of go over it again and again. Like when you're studying for a test, some people like doing flashcards. Some people want to just read the source material. It's all about what works for different people. So being able to adapt our methods to those people and make sure that everybody has the best potential for earning money and making a sustainable career is super important to both me and Katie.
Sure. Katie, what makes coaching different from the free resources available on the site?
So the difference between coaching and free resources is free resources when I write them, and I assume when Aerie writes them too, although I've never actually asked her, is we write them to be as relevant to as many people as possible. So if I say, here's 3 advanced tips that'll take your night flirt account further,
Hmm.
and I talk about using keywords, the types of keywords that are searched, I talk about using GIFs and photos, whether or not you
Hmm.
should make a phone with cam listing. So I kind of throw it out there and I'm saying, this is what'll work for most people. Here
Sure.
are some things you can consider. What it
Right.
doesn't do is sit down and look at your night flirt listing and go through it piece by piece with you to figure out what's not working or
Right.
what you could change or why aren't you showing up in search results for a certain term. Oh, it's because you've put all of your text in a picture.
Yeah.
You've got all that information, you've just got it in the wrong format. Or
Yeah.
why aren't your gifts doing well? Why aren't you getting reviews? We don't have the opportunity to sit down and do that on an individual basis when you're looking at free resources.
Sure. Sure.
Free resources are the teacher standing at the front of the room
Hmm.
telling you stuff.
Right.
But if you have an actual question, you can't just scream it out because the teacher's done and walked away.
Sure.
So it's a speech versus a conversation, I think.
Okay. So Katie, get into the specific services you're offering coaching for.
So for me, I'm obviously only offering coaching in things that I specialize in. If you would like to know how to do really well on token sites, don't ask me. I know how to do okay on token sites, but I only know how to do okay. So
Right.
I'm
Right.
not your girl for that. I'm great at Night Flirt, which is
Mhm.
a phone sex site. I'm really good at Talk to Me, which is a phone sex site. In fact, I can help you get comfortable with phone sex, get used to phone sex, give you some tips on maximizing your listings, how to get into phone sex if you're nervous about it, because I know I was really scared to do it, which was weird. I felt better about taking my clothes off on the internet than picking up a phone and talking dirty.
That's weird.
But it's really common. The number of cam girls
Yeah.
who say, I can't do phone sex, I can't do it,
Wow.
is
I guess it's hard.
astonishing.
I guess it's hard for a lot of gals to be someone who they aren't, which you have to be in phone sex.
Well, you
Well, not
don't have to be.
necessarily.
See,
Yeah.
here's the thing is phone sex, everybody has in their mind the old dispatch style things where
Yeah.
they would tell you who to be, call you
Right.
and pick up, you are this character. This is who we've sold you as. These days, with independent phone sex, you get to set yourself up as your own character. So I'm
Oh.
Katy Churchill. When they call me, they're
Hmm.
calling me.
Oh,
It's
okay.
all my own branding. It's
Okay,
all
you're
my own
not a
photos.
you're not a 5'2" buxom blonde.
No, not at all. It's all my own photos. It's all my own content. Phone sex has changed so much,
Ah,
but everybody still has this very
you can
1980s,
yeah,
1990s feel about it.
you can see I'm a real consumer of it.
No, but it's funny because it is such a popular thing still. I make an
Mm,
insane amount of money off of phone sex.
wow.
And models just leave it behind. So models who are looking to get started in phone sex, absolutely, please, I want to help you. I want to get you in on it because you don't
Okay.
have to put any makeup on. You can do it in your pajamas. Also,
Okay.
models who are looking to transition from mainstream cam sites into Skype camming, some of the differences between how you market yourself and that sort of thing, getting used to all the listing sites, stuff like that. Models who are nervous about doing one-on-one performances.
Mhm.
It's also really common that models aren't sure how to interact one on one with customers, which is, I mean, I'm not great at interacting with a big group of people who are all watching and trying to control a show. So
Mhm.
the one on one can be a little bit difficult, and really getting that one on one, creating that intimacy, those experiences that keep them coming back. There are tricks to it. It
Right.
is a bit of a science as well as an art. There's a
Sure.
lot of tips and tricks that you can use that hook them and keep them coming back.
Right.
And regulars, I mean, what is it? 20% of your clients or 80% of your money, people say.
Sure.
So you want to keep the regulars coming back.
That's an
And as well,
anything. Yeah.
models who are looking at getting into fetish videos, learning how to research, how to explore different fetishes, how to find your own niche, things like that. So lots of stuff, just
Okay.
not token sites.
That's
Okay.
what makes Katy special because Katy has a method where she enjoys connecting with her customers one on one. And that's actually a style of camming. That's a style of phone sex. It's a style of clip production. And it's something that not every cam person, every clip producer is accustomed to because a lot
Sure.
of the sites set you up so that you're a performer and everyone's a viewer, where Katy's style allows the customer to also perform and it increases the intimacy. And I think that adds a real edge to what Katy does.
I think you guys are both special. I I can't say that there are two female performers in our industry that I've been more impressed with than you two, to be completely honest.
Oh, thank
Oh,
you.
No, it's true. It's
blushing.
I
true.
just
You
went
two,
bright red.
no, you two are awesome. You two are awesome. And Aerie, that's why I keep having you back on, because I'm a fan.
It's because you have a secret crush on me. It's okay. We all know.
Yeah, well, we'll talk about that later when we actually meet in person. But anyway.
One day. You got to bring all 6 dogs, though.
Oh, jeez. Nah, I don't know about that. You're going to have to come to Thailand. If you want to meet all 6 dogs, you're going to have to come out here.
I mean, it sounds beautiful out there.
It's amazing. I got some pictures after our conversation to show you from dinner the other night that's just going to blow you away.
If it doesn't include chickens, I don't know if I want to talk. You got the chickens in the pictures?
No, sea bass.
Oh, come on. You know I love my cock pics.
You went a long way to set that joke up.
I really did. I was so
Damn.
happy I
Damn,
accomplished it.
that was like the roadmap of China. Okay, so do you want to answer the same question, Aerie?
Sure. So I offer social media marketing consultations, tips on customer retention, establishing beginner rates, brand building, including self publishing PR and website development. And Bruce knows I'm excellent at self published PR because he sees my
Yes,
PR all the time.
absolutely. I've complimented it. Yes.
I also offer consultations on mastering the algorithm on sites that you use, specifically Stream8 and Clips for Sale, but I'm also able to practice on any site that you prefer to use and learn the
Mhm.
algorithm. It's one of my favorite things to do, actually. Starting and growing your fan club, turning fetish to full time, and just video marketing in general. So I'm kind of like the marketing, fan club, and like algorithm master.
And
Aerie,
you're still so young. You're still such a baby. It just blows me away.
Hey, I'm turning 25 in like 6 days.
Oh my God, 25. Oh, okay. I won't call you young anymore. You know what you sound like? You sound like the Thai women. Oh, I 25, I old. Okay. So, what kind, it's true they say that. What kind of free information is available on your site?
All of it.
Oh, hang on.
Well, me and Katy, we look at what's trending, look at what we need information on, and we kind of do it like in a pyramid style. Like, here's the basic, and then what we could build on top of that, what we can build on top of that. And we try to go as specific as we can, obviously, without being able to interact with the person directly. But we cover everything. If you can do it as an independent adult performer, it's going to be on there. And if it's not on there, tell us and we will get it on there.
And we also publish weekly blog posts that have information that creators might need, that performers might be interested in. So, just a handful of the last ones: a tax season to do list for American independent contractors.
Yeah.
We've got advanced tips for night flirt, 3 things to buy for your business in 2022. We've got a bunch of information about how to make your own Linktree alternative if
Mhm.
you're worried about getting banned on there, how to boost your placement on StreamMate. And then we also occasionally cover things like the ManyVids Awards and ideas for how you can do things on sites like that.
Got it. So, why offer so much for free if your end goal is to monetize your site with coaching?
2 reasons from my perspective. Number one is paying it forward. I was fortunate that when I was a little baby cam girl, I made friends with 2 women who'd been in the industry for a very long time.
Mhm.
And they were able to just gift me their knowledge. They saved
Mhm.
me time, they saved me money, they saved my sanity more than once. And for me, I want to give that information out as well because I'm not some genius. I didn't dream this all up myself. I haven't recreated the wheel. I haven't invented nuclear fusion. Or is it fission we can't do? I can't remember. Whichever one of the nuclear things we haven't worked out yet, that one. I didn't do that. I haven't created some miraculous thing. I've tried things and failed, and I've also had the benefit of the learning of other people who have tried and tested and failed and succeeded.
Mhm.
And so for me, part of it is paying it forward, but to a wider degree than my friends were able to do. They just had me to take under their wing. I want to take
Right.
everyone under my wing.
Sure.
The other reason is to prove that I know what I'm talking about. If I just stand here and say, "Hi, I'm a cam coach, you should pay me." That's great. Except that I'm a performer across multiple sites, as most performers are these days. I'm not number one on any site. So I don't have that easy proof where I can say,
Sure.
look, I'm number one on StreamMate. Obviously, I know what I'm doing. Instead, I can say,
Oh,
well, I'm this number on this site, I'm this number on this site, I'm this number on. But that's really hard to put into a quick and easy, here's why you should trust me. So
yeah.
I want to show people I do know what I'm talking about. I do have valuable information. If you like this information, then we're probably a good fit.
Yeah. And let's face it, okay? Just because somebody is number one at something doesn't mean they know anything. They
Oh, they
might
don't
just,
trust me. I paid for all those OnlyFans courses to find out if they knew shit, and they don't.
and here's the thing, okay? Many of them are just number one because, well, one, they're incredibly hot, or two, they're very, very good at what they do. But I kind of liken it to sports, as I liken many things. You know, some of the greatest baseball players of all time were some of the shittiest commentators of all time because they could do it, or they were the worst coaches of all time in this case.
Hmm.
They could do it, but they couldn't tell you how to do it. And then the other thing is, some of the greatest athletes of all time were so good at it, they had no patience with people who weren't as good with it.
Yeah.
Also, as the resident marketing expert, I am going to add why offer the free resources? It's marketing. I mean, SEO is so important.
Yeah.
And having these articles up that have all of these keywords that me and Katy specialize in, and they're actually rich and full of content, is going to perform much better than just a basic consultation page.
Correct.
And we do love sharing the information, obviously, or we wouldn't have, like, we have probably 300, 400 articles up on the site. But it's also just a fantastic way for marketing. And it's
Sure.
kind of a knock to the fact that we're good at marketing and we're good at
Yes.
the things we say we're good at.
Yes, you are. Now, and what you did with Webcam Startup and the SEO there is nothing short of amazing. So, yeah, I agree with you wholeheartedly. Now, there are loads of cam coaches out there. What do you bring to the table that others don't?
Our wonderful personalities, obviously. Just kidding. I think that we bring something that I want Katy to elaborate on because she already talked about it a little bit, but we are middle class performers. We're average, and I think Katy will agree with me there.
Hmm.
I don't think you two are average, but anyway.
No, but we're people that we are very average. Neither of us burst onto the scene and got profiled in XBiz. Neither of
Hmm.
us lucked out and got picked by ManyVids to be the face of a campaign. We
Hmm.
haven't had any of those lucky happenstance
Sure.
moments that other models might have had that catapult them to the top. I mean, we've seen models go from invisible, they get a video picked to be featured on the front page of Pornhub at random, and suddenly they're making $100,000 a month.
Yep.
So I always say, I forced my way to success. I had things working against me, and I was able to push through it, figure out what worked, go through and actually find out what makes people click on profiles, how to show
Hmm.
up in search, all of those things that you don't need to find if you've had a lucky accident.
Yep.
And so I think that that gives me a lot more ability to help other people because I can't look and say, well, I only managed to make it to the front page because I got picked to be on the banner for the site. So they put me on the front page so the guys would see the same face they clicked on from the ad. I don't have anything like that. I've been able to do it from zero.
Yeah.
And
Yeah,
I
we
think
worked to get here and we continue to work to do what we do. And I think it also helps. We aren't on anyone's payroll.
no, we are
Um,
not. I could be if you want me to. Just putting that out there.
there's
I can be bought, she says.
I am extremely cheap.
there's a lot of websites out there that will pay for preferential treatment, preferential reviews, and they'll even hire cam coaches. And then those cam coaches get to go on and say, I have the experience because I was the official cam coach for whatever site. And we don't have that, but I think that's actually more of a benefit to us because we're more relatable. Everything that we know, we worked hard to learn. We tried, we practiced it. We don't just, say, hey, do this, it'll work. We did it to see if it would work.
Yep.
We're
And if it
also
didn't work, we tell you.
we're also both active models, which I think is something that's really overlooked.
Yep.
There are cam coaches that haven't performed in years, and I think that that's really to the detriment of the people they're helping. I mean, they might be hip with the latest developments on the performer dashboard on paper, but I think when you haven't used the product, when you haven't been the product,
Yeah.
that also makes a big difference, especially now when technology is changing so fast, when we have changing demographics of camming, when all of the marketing stuff is changing so quickly with Twitter and TikTok and Instagram and people using Twitch and YouTube and all sorts of things. I think
Regulations.
Yep, regulations change. What you can and can't say on cam has changed. What you can and can't put in videos. And I think when you start looking at models who have not performed for 2 years, 3 years, I know of a cam coach who hasn't performed in over 10 years. And people are still paying her, and she is not actively on
Wow.
any sites. And because she was a big name, she was a
Yeah.
huge name, and I'm absolutely not going to tell you who, but she was a big name
Oh, come on.
and she had a couple of those gigs, but now her stuff is very limited to, well, put out a sexy picture on Twitter before you go on cam. Everybody knows that.
Yeah.
How do you make yourself actually stand out now?
Sure.
Having a good profile picture isn't enough anymore. You still hear
Yeah.
people saying, oh, well, if you have a good profile picture on Streammate, like you can upload your own. Well, no, now you need to have one taken recently.
Yeah,
That's
Well, hey,
cheating.
and
I
I'll
know a
tell you.
trick to trick that.
Yeah.
See, there
So,
you go. And those are the things
Well,
that you need to learn is how to,
sure.
Aerie's got the tricks. But you still
Well,
see that in
yeah.
some of these cam courses that are sold. You still see how to upload your own picture to Streamate. It's like that's not the case anymore. This course is
Yeah.
old.
Yeah, and let's keep something in mind, okay? Who doesn't have a sexy picture on streaming? I mean that's kind of a duh. No, have an ugly picture on
Well,
streaming,
no, they used
please.
to have a thing on Streammate where it would just automatically take a photo of you. And
but
it
Ah,
now it takes a live photo. And you know what? I'm going to give a free trick for all the people out there so that I can prove that I am actually experienced in what I talk about. If you stream on a broadcasting system like OBS, open up your preferred photo and put that as your overlay, and then you can just set it to visible or invisible. Make it invisible for when you take your scan photo to prove you are who you are, and then make it visible for when it takes your picture, and then no more crappy looking live photo unless you're very
nice.
confident about your setup, and then you can do that. But
Very
also
good.
you can use this to put keywords like on your screen. So when I'm only doing femdom shows, I'll put femdom shows so people don't come in and say, "Hey, do you want to like dildo yourself for 50 minutes?" So yeah,
See, and it's
pro
those
tip.
little things that go a long way when you're helping someone with their profile or helping them up their game. And it's those things that you don't know if you're not an active model.
Sure. So, Katie, what originally drew you to Skype and away from the more popular mainstream campsites?
For me, it was all about that one on one.
Yeah.
StreamMate started doing gold shows and encouraging you to do more and more stuff in public chat, although they still technically had their rules, but let's be honest. Um, is that I wanted that private show thing. For me, I do a lot of fetish shows, but I do a lot of private shows. And that was really all I was doing, whether I was on a token site or on a site like StreamMate that's allegedly more private show based. Private shows were where I made all my money, but the sites just aren't set up for them very well.
Right.
The guys have to type. If they turn their audio on, it's really laggy and slow or really hollow and you can't really hear what they're saying.
Hmm.
You can only get a tiny postage stamp picture of their camera if you do cam to cam. And it just didn't make sense that with the technology that we had, that this was the best option for people,
Yeah.
that this was the best that we could do. I wanted it to be a real intimate show. I mean, I'm charging a
Right.
premium price. So I want them to get a premium experience, and this isn't
Yeah.
it. If you
As it
have to stop
as it
what you're
should be.
doing
Yeah.
to type, and that just didn't feel very luxury to me.
Yeah,
And
your
I mean,
hand your
saying,
hands might be tied up at the moment.
yeah, you can't type, and not only that, if you're doing a fetish show, what they're doing on screen is important. Like watching them, especially if you're doing any kind of jerk off instructions or any
Mhm.
sort of femdom stuff that involves instructions, you have to be able to see what they're doing. You
Yeah, if
can't,
you tell them to hit their penis and they're not hitting their penis, it's not a real good femdom show.
but you
Indeed.
can't tell what they're doing on those little tiny screens.
Yeah, and
So,
don't tell me to hit my penis, please, because that would hurt.
well, that's why you're not one of Aerie's subs or
I'm not
or
anybody.
mine,
I'm
quite
not. I'm
frankly.
not anybody's sub, baby.
But yeah, so for me, I did not like the experience that my customers were getting. I felt like they were paying for something they weren't getting. So I started looking around and I
Sure.
started asking questions on forums, and models kept saying, "Oh, you need to do Skype shows." And I was like, "Well, what the fuck does that mean?" So I was on Chatterbait, I believe, at the time. And I don't know if this is still the case, but you used to be able to take tokens for Skype shows. So
Hmm.
that's what I started doing. So they would pay me tokens on Chatterbait, and then we would go on Skype and do the actual show.
Interesting.
And guys loved it.
Hmm.
They like I would get on Chatterbait and I would stream for like 4 hours and I would do no shows on Chatterbait whatsoever, no private
Yeah.
shows. I wouldn't do anything in public chat. It would just be me logging in and out, getting my tokens and going to Skype. And I thought there has to be a better way to do this. And then I learned about Night Flirt and I learned about Cam Model Directory. And those were the
Yep.
two that I used. And suddenly the money I was charging and the service I was giving became equal.
Yeah.
Where now I had them on my screen, big size. We could talk back and forth. There was no lag. We were both getting HD video.
Mm-hmm.
Nobody had to type. It was absolutely wonderful. And it made me feel like I was giving the service that I wanted to give.
Yeah.
That my
Katie, you're so good at like treating your customers like they're humans and not just money.
my customers are all humans to me. I keep track of all sorts of things about them because for me, this business is a customer service business, first and foremost.
Yes.
And I know that that seems like a weird way to look at it sometimes. And a lot of people don't agree with me. I know there's like very much a trend among some models to like talk down about customers and things like that.
Mm-hmm.
That's really not my vibe. My customers, some of them are so close that honestly, if I don't see them for a while, I do worry about them. You know,
Yeah.
they are people, they are, I don't want to say friends because that's not a line that I cross with customers, but they are so important to me. Without them, I can't pay my rent. I don't have
Right.
food. I don't have the electricity on. Me and my
Yes.
cat are out on the street.
Oh,
So for me, it's really important to create an experience that where your customers feel valued, where your customers feel that they're taken care of, where they
yep.
feel that they are that they're wanted essentially. I mean, our whole
Yes.
job is to be wanted.
Yep.
And one of the ways that I make sure I'm wanted is by giving them an experience that they'll want to come back for. And for me, that's been Skype shows.
Yep.
They also treat you more human in return, I feel. Like
Sure.
when you treat a customer like they're just money, they treat you like you're just sex. So I feel like that has a huge benefit for long-term income. I love Katie. Katie's oh, my dogs are barking.
It's okay. Music to my ears. Music to my ears.
Katie's method is just wonderful, and I think that she's great at what she does, and I think the way she establishes relationships with customers is just, it's awesome.
Yeah. Well, it should be universal. So now Aerie, you've said you use applied practice to test out methods that you recommend. Can you elaborate a little bit?
So we kind of already flogged this horse a bit back in the however many questions ago, but basically I try what I recommend. I don't just recommend things to recommend them. I'm
Okay.
not like, "Hey, this will work for you," and just sit back and let people go for it and fail.
Okay.
If I see it work and I know it can work, that's when I recommend it to someone. I'm not going to give outdated advice or old advice or advice that I haven't tried myself, because if I don't know if it works, I can't tell you if it will. And I think it's so
Sure.
important that as someone offering consultations and mentoring and coaching, that you make sure what you're telling people is actually worthwhile. And
Yeah.
if it doesn't work for me and it works for you, that's great, but I'm never going to recommend something that hasn't worked for me, because I can't like say wholeheartedly like I believe this will work for you, because it just, if it doesn't, it doesn't.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
I think that's another important part of coaching. When people get coaching from me or from Katie, like things may work for you that didn't work for us, and that's fantastic, and things may work for us that won't work for you. But the whole thing with coaching is when you pay me, I'm going to tell you every single bit of thing I can from my experience, because I've tried it
Right.
and I know how to make it work. And I feel like that's a huge part of it. Like you
Well,
can
and not
get all
only
sorts of different
yeah,
coaching guys.
yeah, and not only your experiences, but the experiences of your clients.
Exactly. And I have friends that have tried things, and I'll actually quiz them. I'll be like, "Hey, let me log into your account and see what you did. Let me see how you did that, because if I'm going to end up recommending this to someone, I want to see what you did. I want to see
Yes.
how you got there. I never want to give a piece of advice that's not backed up by someone having succeeded doing it."
Right. Right. So, what inspires the of you to continue providing help and resources to new and experienced models?
Sometimes I admit it can be a little bit hard when you put a whole bunch of time and energy into a model who ends up quitting
Mm.
because they got a new boyfriend or they got bored, they didn't see results right away.
Yeah.
But for me, what keeps me coming back is getting DMs. Well, formerly on Twitter. I don't have Twitter anymore, but I used to get lots of DMs on Twitter that were like, "Hey, you wrote this article. I tried it and it changed everything.
Nice.
Hey, I signed up for this site after you reviewed it and it's been amazing."
Huh.
Things like that keep me going, knowing that I'm helping people.
Right.
That makes my heart happy. I do a lot of volunteering in my non-sex work life. I really love helping people. I love knowing that just something I did made someone's day just a little bit easier or a little bit better.
Hmm.
And I've always been that way.
Yeah.
It can be tough though when you see people drop out, when you see people quit.
Yeah.
Um, but it's the people who are still trying. That's what I'm here for.
Right.
And as someone who wasn't banished from Twitter, the love that me and Katie receive is crazy. Like, I'll have probably at least one newer model a day that'll reach out to me and say, "Hey, I saw your article on Webcam Startup or Adult Model Mentors or, wherever else I've posted articles. I've been posted on, like, I think I got on XBiz, AVN, all
Hmm.
sorts of different places. And they reach out and they're like, "This really helped me. Thank you so much." And then I also went to Why Not Community,
Hmm.
and I ran into a very, very popular fan club performer, and she was like, "Oh my god, wait, you run that site? I use that site like a Bible, and I
Wow.
know this woman is crazy successful." And I'm just like, "Holy shit,"
Can you mention her
people
name?
doing
Can you mention her name?
what?
Can you mention her
No,
name?
I'm not gonna do that because
Okay.
we didn't talk about publicizing her name, so I'm not gonna do that. But I've run into so many instances of people using information me or Katie provide and just taking it and running with it.
Right.
And that encourages me to just keep helping. And even if a lot of people don't know me and Katie are behind the information we put out
Yeah.
because we don't make it like blatantly obvious. But obviously, some sites also allow you to look into who you've referred. So I've seen,
Sure.
so many people who I see just doing crazy successful ventures,
Yeah.
and there are referrals, and I'm just like, "Oh my god." It's absolutely wild. So
Yeah.
the impact that we have is so large, and sometimes we
Yes.
don't even realize it.
No. So, what keeps the two of you in the adult industry year after year and keeps you excited about your work?
Katie likes diddling herself, that's why.
I
Ah.
do. I was gonna say the work itself, quite frankly. I do. I love the sexual aspect of the work. Not gonna lie, that part of it is really great for me. I get paid to masturbate versus having
Wow.
to wait till I'm off the clock. So that's this fringe benefits of it. Obviously, I like the fact that it's really flexible and it allows me to be creative. Fetishes are fascinating and wonderful. I mean, Aerie
Mhm.
just discovered a new fetish today when I told her about one of my
Ooh.
recent best-selling videos, and she had no idea it was even a kink. And right,
Don't tell him what it is. He's gonna laugh at us. Don't tell him
I
what it
want to
is.
know.
stinky pussy videos. Yeah, saying that your
Oh.
pussy like smells like old dead fish and it's
Ugh.
slimy and gross.
Ugh.
It's a whole
Okay.
kink, and I discovered it, and
I'm glad I already ate.
I I made a video, and it's become extremely popular. And so things like that, discovering new fetishes just really, I was going to say, butters my bread. I don't know if that's a saying or if I just made it up, but I love discovering new fetishes. I love the creativity. I love performing.
Yep.
But honestly, at the end of the day, I get paid to masturbate, and that is a pretty sweet ass privilege to have.
Yeah.
So, for me, who doesn't quite enjoy the diddling so much as Katie does, I'm actually, like, pretty much asexual So it's all performance for me, but what keeps
Mm,
me involved is the freedom of the schedule, my ability to be able to take time off if I need time off. As someone who struggles with mental illness, I feel like having the ability to structure my work around how I'm doing is really important to me.
yeah.
And I mean, it's a double-edged sword, sometimes I'll just be sad and sleep, and I definitely shouldn't keep sleeping, but but I have the freedom to do that.
Yeah.
I'm not
Yeah.
gonna get fired from my job because I'm having a
Right.
bad day, and I
Yeah.
think that's really important to myself and also to other people in the industry that struggle with mental illness. It's a
Sure.
very common thing.
Yes. Have you utilized the services of Pineapple Support?
I have used Pineapple Support,
Good.
and they recommended me a terrific therapist,
Good.
and it was great, but I feel like I'm too loud in the industry because I ended up talking on a panel with my therapist at the time, and I found that to be a little bit weird,
Mm,
so I've sought out a new therapist now.
okay. Yeah, but what they do is really phenomenal, isn't it?
Yeah, their webinars are amazing. I've gone to several of their webinars,
Good. Good.
which are also free to people in the industry. And while I
Yep.
haven't used their counseling services, what they do is incredibly, incredibly important. It is so
Yep. I
difficult to
agree.
find
I agree.
sex work positive therapists. And the
Yep.
fact that they're able to match people up and sometimes offer support with the funding for it is just
Hmm.
They
absolutely
almost always
outstanding.
offer support with the funding of it. Like, you
Yeah.
get a special discount if you're connected through Pineapple Support, and
Yep.
I think that's excellent because
Yep.
therapy services aren't cheap,
No.
and if you're already in a stigmatized industry, it's so scary to spend, $100, $200 on something if you think it might go bad.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah. I
big time.
I'm a proud bipolar, so I I jumped on the opportunity to sponsor Pineapple Support through our company, and I plug them every chance I get. So, is your mentorship and coaching available for hire by adult website owners as well as for models?
Yes.
Yes,
Oh, that was a quick. That was a quick.
absolutely.
That was a quick one.
I think both Aerie and I have worked with some sites in the past that have been looking for models to review things or look at what they're
Hmm.
working on, give them feedback.
Yep.
More sites should do that. Just putting
Yes.
that out there.
Yes.
But I mean, we're currently watching the fallout of Cam Model Directory choosing not to ask models what they think, and
Mm,
we'll see how that goes for them.
mm,
But yeah, absolutely, we're open to working with companies, whether they want to look at coaching for their models or whether they're interested in model reviews and feedback, beta testers,
hmm.
helping with that sort of thing. I think that would be a really fun opportunity. I've done a little bit of it, but I would love to do more.
Yeah.
We're even more efficient if you get us as a pair too, because we
Mm.
nitpick totally different things, so
Yep.
we will get you 100% there.
There you go. So, how can websites contact you about being featured or reviewed on your website?
You can contact us directly in order to be featured on the website. You can also send an email to adultmodelmentors@gmail.com. I know it's not a professional email, we're working on it. But yeah, you could just reach out to either of us individually, whether you have our emails. A lot of people have already reached out to me personally, so I
Yep.
feel like you guys are all figuring it out. If you're listening, congratulations. You're good at what you do.
Yeah, reach out to Aerie.
Yeah.
I'm not the best
Katy is
necessarily.
just gonna forward you to me, so I guess just reach out to me.
Aerie's a lot better at the businessy stuff of having a site.
So,
Um,
go ahead.
so yeah, I was just gonna say, if you wanna reach out to me directly, Aerie@AerieSaunders.com is the best way to reach me.
Beautiful. Now, how can performers reach out to book consultations?
So if you go to adultmodelmentors.com and you click on consultations, it'll take you to a little page that has Aerie and my pretty faces on it. And there is a button, I believe, where you can click to request a consultation. And it'll take you to a form where you can fill out some information about kind of what you're looking for. And we will get back to you pretty darn quickly. to follow up to find a date and a time that works for you. And we're open to all time zones. You don't have to be, because someone asked me, oh my gosh, what if it's in the middle of the night for you? That's fine. I can make coffee any time of day.
As can I. I know how that goes. So, what are the next big plans for Adult Model Mentors?
Ooh, this one's exciting. So we have a new mentor that's going to be joining our team
Yeah.
soon. And it's a name that people actually know and love. Are
And
we excited? Can I get a drum roll?
Very
Right.
excited.
Alice Scary. So they are the model liaison for Just for Fans, and they have been in the industry for a long time. They are a non-binary performer, and they have a ton of experience doing fetish work, collaborations, and just all sorts of different stuff in the industry. So they are going to be also offering consultations through our site and uploading articles and stuff. So
what's the name?
I'm very excited. I'll type it in the chat because it doesn't. It's Alice Scary, but it's with a K. It's not like scary. It's scary with a K.
I'll take your word for it. Okay, very good. Ladies, I would so much like to thank you for being our guests today on Adult Site Broker Talk, and I know we'll get a chance to do this again real soon.
Thank you for
so
having
much.
us.
Oh God, we did it again.
Yeah, that was better.
Dude.
That was okay. That was better. That was better. My broker tip today is part 7 of how to buy an adult website. Last week we talked about the agreement and escrow. So now you own the website. What do you do now? The first thing you should do is make sure you understand everything about the operation of the site. The previous owner will hopefully be available for a period of time to help you with this. As I mentioned last week, you should establish what the former owner's participation will be after the sale. You'll need to deal with production of new content, processing, paying affiliates, and many other things. If you don't have experience in these things, you may want to consider our general consulting firm, Adult Business Consulting. You can get more information on what this company does at adultbusinessconsulting.com. We help website owners project manage and guide them to the right vendors. Maybe the previous owner had all the right elements: processing, hosting, payments, production, scripts, etc., or maybe they didn't. We can help evaluate that for you. Let us know if we can help. Anyway, you'll now be operating the website. If you don't have someone like our general consulting firm to help, evaluate all of these items and everything the site is spending money on and using to operate the website. Make sure you're getting a good deal and that these companies are providing the right service, and check to see if you can do better. Hosting is a great example on something where people are often both overpaying and not getting the right service. Many times the server is just too slow. If you have any questions about any of this, feel free to reach out to us on our website. Next week, we'll talk about how to sell a website. And next week, we'll be speaking with Brad Mitchell of Mojo Host. He'll have lots to say about hosting. You don't want to miss that. And that's it for this week's Adult Site Broker Talk. I'd once again like to thank my guests, Aerie and Katy of Adult Model Mentors. Talk to you again next week on Adult Site Broker Talk. I'm Bruce Friedman.